Getting a staff position isn't as safe as you think it might be.
Animation secrets.
So in this episode, I wanted to discuss the differences between being staff and being contract. Staff essentially means that you are an employee. That comes along, depending on where the country you're in, that goes along with certain benefits. Usually it means health insurance, paid time off. It's a guaranteed, very big air quotes here, guaranteed position. I say that it's not as safe as you think it is because if you take a look at the industry, and it's not just ours, anywhere really. You can be let go essentially with 2 weeks notice. If you look in the fine print of your contract, I know in Europe, it's a much longer notice period. Sometimes it can be a few months to even a year notice. For the Canadian and the United States people, look in the fine print, it's usually a 2-week notice period. So even though they call you staff, they could let you go in 2 weeks. Take a look at all the layoffs that happened at Blizzard or any studio around, like Blue Sky shutting down. Just because you're working at a top tier studio doesn't mean that being staff is a safe position. And I say that not to scare you. I say that to prepare you to have a resilient mindset and to also not discount having a contract or a short or long-term contract, because that allows you some flexibility to take vacation, to find the next project, or test the waters at one studio and see if you want to try to stay there longer or bounce around and get more experience at other places. People think that a staff position is more safe just by the connotation of the word staff, when in reality, I've even had a contract where the employer wanted me to take 3 months unpaid vacation because the project ended, even though my contract was for 3 more months. They just wanted to get rid of me so that they didn't have to pay me when they didn't have work for me to do, even though that was not in the contract. So I ended up leaving and never working there again, and probably won't based on that practice, which I don't agree with, obviously. So even in a contract situation, you can get into a sticky situation. So I wanted to breach this subject because I think having a contract mentality on a staff position is a healthy mindset so that you stay sharp and you don't get too comfortable in your position on staff or as an employee to think that you don't need to keep your reel current or your resume current, because if something bad does happen, you need to be prepared. And someone who's on a contract is always prepared because they know the contract is going to be ending. So they're at a bit of an advantage in that regard. And so anytime that if I do or am in a staff position, I always try to take that contract mindset into that position so that I'm prepared for anything that happens. Speak of the pandemic and projects get pushed back, they have to lay people off, or a ton of things can happen. Just because you're staff doesn't mean you're safe. So just don't get nervous about that. Just take that with healthy respect and be prepared, because this industry, like any industry, there's ups and downs. And so the more you can be prepared, the better you can weather that kind of situation. So if you want to learn more about career type specific things like this, check out the Break Into the Animation Industry course. It's about 6 hours long on digitalcreatorschool.com, along with all the courses I teach, so that you can gain some of the insight and gain some shortcuts to the knowledge I spent so long trying to accumulate and still am doing, working in the industry. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next Animation Secrets.